So we hear these things that say stuff like, be in the now, be present, be in the here and now. But what does that really mean? When we think of something like, be in the now, that statement may think it's saying something like, I need to be in the now. Like there's this thing called the now, which is right here, and I need to get into it. And so there's now a split being created of the now and the me, and I need to put the two together. And, well, how do they fit? Well, let's see. I am in the now, and so the now must somehow be outside of me, right? And I am in the now. And so that statement, be in the now, can be kind of misunderstood by the mind when it tries to understand like what that statement is really saying. So let's make it a little bit simpler, and kind of like really just simplify it, make it easier to understand, and because truth is really simple. Like if it was complicated, everybody would have gotten it by now. But it's really quite simple, and it's because we overcomplicate it that it seems so complicated. But it's very simple, it's very clear. When we say something like, be here now, we may think that is like a command or a suggestion for somebody to do a thing called being here or being now. But if we look at that statement a little bit more directly, and it says simply, be here, be now, be here and now. Literally, it's just saying, be here itself. Not as somebody who's doing an activity called being here, but it's just here, be that. Be here. If we notice here, not as like a location like here as opposed to over there or over there, but just kind of here. We notice here is always here. It's effortless. It doesn't matter how much you meditate or how spiritual you are or how unspiritual you are. You can be meditating on a mountain in India, or you can be running 1,000,000 miles an hour in your job. And yet here is always here. Similarly, now is always now. The here and now is not so much an object that can be kind of grasped or pointed to, but it's more of the space in which all of the content filling the here and now arises. So the here and now isn't a thing, it's more of an emptiness, a container, if you will, a spaciousness. What's important is not what this physical body-mind thing that's happening here is doing, but rather what you really are as being. When we talk about being, it's not so much a noun, like a human being or a dolphin being or a cat being. Like there's lots of living beings on the planet, right? And these are physical beings. Maybe there's non-physical beings too, like there's maybe ghosts or spirit guides or guardian angels or archangels, or there's lots of non-physical beings. And so these are all like individual, not quite objects necessarily, but they're like people and non-people, like living beings, right? Maybe dead beings too, whatever. When we use the word being, it's more of like a verb. It's like I'm being, I'm existing, I am life living, I am divinity in expression, I am this manifestation of what is. I am this nothingness that is being everything. It is this aliveness in action. It is being. I am being. Here I am, being. Not I am a thing that is a being, but I am simply being. What is it that I am being? When they say, be still, be here and now, it's that you're not being something. Like the here and now, stillness, it's not a thing that you can grasp. It's the space in which all things happen. It's more of a nothingness or an emptiness. Be here now. You are this effortless presence that doesn't have to try to be in the moment, because it is the moment itself. You are this spaciousness, this silence. Not the silence I need to listen to, but you actually are that silence. Be here and now. This effortless here that is always here, no matter where you go. It's always here. It's always now. Be here and now. Take that statement a little bit more literally, a little bit more directly. Make it a little bit simpler. Be this. There is this happening. There is awareness witnessing this happening. There is this body-mind flowing and just doing whatever this body-mind does. There is the world all around, seemingly, that does what the world does. There's just this flow of life as it is living. This beingness just being. And you are not separate from any of that, because you are that aliveness. Just this living, manifest presence. If you go within, you can feel how it transitions from just unmanifest being to this physicalized expression and manifestation. And as soon as these words are spoken, instantly they're gone. And they fall back into the unmanifest, in which they remain. Everything exists here and now, either manifest or unmanifest. But it all exists right here. Be the here and now. As we shift from this, something, I've got a mind and I've got a body and I've got a spirit. I'm like this three-part being, right? Mind, body, soul. Which is somehow connected to everything, somehow one with everything. Ooh, somehow, right? Somehow everywhere. Like, how is my body also over there? How am I also over there? Like, that's not what's being said. When we say, I am everywhere, I am all that is, I am omnipresent. It's not that this body is also literally everywhere, but it is what I truly am that is manifesting as everything, is everywhere. This beingness, life itself. I am not a body who has a life, who can get a life, or who can lose their life. Life is not something to be acquired or lost. Life is actually what you are, which is living itself through these bodies here. And there's only one life. There's only one life that's arising here. And these unique expressions of life, we may call, Ariel, or we may call you, we may call trees, it's air. It's all this one life in expression, and you are that life. Be here and now. The here itself, be that. The now itself, be that. Just be. You're not being a thing. You're just being what is always here. What's the only thing that can always be here? Here. Here is here. Now is now. My hand is my hand. The sound of one hand clapping is the sound of one hand clapping. Keep it simple, right? What is always here? Here is always here. Be here. This eternal presence. It's not a thing. It's not something to be achieved. Or it doesn't matter what achievements happen or don't happen. It's total non-achievement. It's never created, it's just here is always here. Nothing special. Totally ordinary. Be here. Be now. Not as a practice to try to achieve something, but as simply falling into what you actually are. Being here and now actually is the point. It's not designed to get you to accomplish something called enlightenment or spiritual realization or super amazing bliss or any of that. Like, that may happen. But it happens not because of an achievement, but because of the whole seeking stuff falls away. And you find yourself here and now. Not only you find yourself here and now as if you're in the moment, right? But you find you are here and now. Literally. You are the here and now itself. Very simple. Keep it simple. Be here, be now.